Hi, friend. Welcome to 5 Days to Food Freedom. This is day 2, and I am so excited to welcome you back into the challenge. Thank you so much for day 1. Thank you for showing up with your heart, with your energy. Thank you for DMing me. Thank you for connecting with me and just sharing your win with me, sharing your aha moments with me. I am so excited for you, and I'm just so grateful that we get to do this challenge together. In today's training, we're going to talk about how to release self-judgment, and we cannot let go of something unless we know what it is we're holding on to. So we're going to release, and we're also going to become aware of what is it that we're even holding on to. So first, we are going to identify what's going on inside our mind. We're going to pull out a piece of paper and a pen, whether it's just straight up computer paper like me. I love just like taking notes on big open computer paper, or you can get out a journal or whatever you used yesterday. But we are going to ask this question: what is the meanest thing you believe about yourself? I know that's a deep question, and I know that may pull up some wounds, that may pull up some hard things, but we cannot let go of it unless we look at that in the eye, unless we acknowledge it, unless we call it out. And I want you to find freedom in this. So what is the meanest thing you believe about yourself? And it is totally okay if you need to pause this video right here and sit with this question for a moment so that you can answer a genuine answer and just really dig deep, and like, you'll know you found the answer when it pricks you, or maybe it wells up some emotion in you, or it takes you back to a moment in time where you go, oh, that is a wound that hurts. So what is the meanest thing you believe about yourself? Now, once you have the answer to that, I'm going to ask you 3 other questions, and go ahead and write out your answers. Or if you need to sit and ponder for a moment, go ahead and pause and ponder. Here's the first question: when did your relationship with food start to shift? When did it change? When did you even start to become aware of food and the impact it has, like on your health or on your body, or how other people view you or perceive you? Next question. And again, you can pause anytime if you need more time. What caused or created this shift? Was there something that happened? Was it something someone said? Did someone do something? Was there an experience? Did you read something online? Like, did you see a video about something that maybe kind of made you think about things in a different way, especially when it comes to a relationship with food? And lastly, how old were you when this happened? Do you even know? Like, it's okay if you don't, but it's feel like, man, I know exactly when that happened. I was 8, or I was 6, or I was 10, or I was 20, I was 25, whatever, 30, however old you were when you noticed how things really started to shift, whether good or whether bad. We're just saying, when did you start to notice food? When did you start to notice your relationship with food? Is there any correlation between this experience, when you started to notice food, when you started to like pay attention or become more mindful of things? Is there any connection between that experience and the meanest thing you believe about yourself? We just want to see if there's any connection, any dot between, I have been beating myself up about this, and I can see that it's rooted, that it stems from something else. So we can really, all our thoughts, all the beliefs we feel about ourselves, they come from somewhere. They come from a root. So if we can heal the root, we can transform the action. How do you think this could be affecting your relationship with food? This experience, this thing someone said to you, this moment in time, how has it maybe altered the entirety of the rest of your relationship with food? How did it change the course of things to get you to where you are now, where you're looking and you're like, man, I'm in a really tough spot in my relationship with food. I feel overwhelmed. I feel anxious. I feel like I'm not enough. I feel like I'm obsessed, or whatever, wherever you fall on that spectrum. What maybe caused that? Let's get back to the root, and let's see if we can heal that and acknowledge it and address it. Our self-judgments, they come from a real place. Often they come from our wounds. They come from the things, the situations, the experiences, the people who have hurt us. And it may feel safer for you to judge you, because when you do, you can protect yourself from other people's judgment. Like, if you are your harshest critic, You feel safer because if anyone else judges you, if it's anything less than how you're already judging yourself, you think it doesn't sting as much. But this is such a false layer of protection because we're still beating ourselves up. We're still keeping ourselves trapped in judgment. And it doesn't feel better to judge ourselves. It doesn't feel any better to be the one who's causing the harm. You deserve to be on your own team. You deserve to cheer yourself on. You deserve to build yourself up. You're worthy of that. Your thoughts can either tear you down or build you up. They can either tear you down or build you up. And I know all of us would love to have the kind of self-talk that builds us up all the time. And I know a lot of people, especially in the health and wellness space, they teach positive affirmations and positive self-talk and like be positive all the time and like look for the joy, look for the gratitude. And I think that there's something really beautiful about that, but I don't think it's always realistic. And here's why. All emotions are helpful. Remember how in day one, I shared that obstacles are opportunities. Well, I think the same is true for self-judgment. And you think about judgment and you're like, oh, that's negative. Like judgment is negative. But I think if we look at it from a certain lens, judgment can actually be really helpful and really insightful. Self-judgment reveals what you truly want. It can also reveal an expectation we've taken on for ourselves that we don't think we measure up to. So there's an expectation, there's a bar, there's a measure of success that we've labeled or we've subscribed to a label of maybe someone else's definition, right? Remember we talked yesterday about someone else's definition of healthy, someone else's definition of fit, beautiful, enough, popular, whatever it may be. And if this is what we think the bar is, and then we don't measure up to it, of course, we're going to judge ourselves. Of course, we're going to think we don't belong, we don't measure up. So we just want to become aware of what is the expectation, what's the bar, what's the thing I'm placing on myself. We judge ourselves the most in the area where we feel like we don't measure up. I said in my slide where we feel like we measure up. Oh, where we don't feel like we measure up. Okay, I thought I made a typo. We judge ourselves the most in the area where we feel like we don't measure up. So how can we release that judgment? I'm going to give you 4 steps. Step 1, you first need to know what you're judging yourself for. This requires a level of awareness. So how do we become aware? Let's start listening to our thoughts. Start becoming aware of how you feel moment to moment. And we're not going to judge ourselves for what comes up. We're just listening. We're observing. We're becoming aware of how we feel moment to moment. So often we don't even check in with ourselves. How am I feeling today? Nevertheless, how am I feeling hour to hour? How do I feel at mealtime? How do I feel after mealtime? How do I feel when I wake up? How do I feel when I go to bed? How do I feel after a stressful day? How do I feel after a moment that was really triggering for me? How do I feel moment to moment? What are my thoughts? What am I feeling inside my body? Step 2, decide. Is this even an expectation I want for my life? Are you holding on too tightly to something you don't even want, to someone else's standard or expectation for you? Are you holding on to what your mom thinks you should do, or what your friend thinks you should look like, or what the blog or the influence you're following says is healthy? Are you holding on too tightly to an expectation or standard that you don't even really want for yourself, but you're holding it in your mind and you're keeping yourself captive because you're not measuring up? Step 3, what if this judgment that you have for yourself or this expectation that you've subscribed to, what if it reveals something you actually want? What if you actually want to be there and you feel like you're falling short? So what do we do then? We're going to listen. We're going to learn. We're going to experiment, because sometimes we want things that are really incredible for us, right? And it's so okay to want something that you don't already have. For example, you may go, man, I want radiant health. I want to wake up vibrant. I want to be full of energy. I want to be able to spend the day serving and loving the people in my life without feeling so drained, so burned out, so resentful. I want that. And so that's actually a beautiful thing to want. So instead of judging ourselves for it, for not meeting that bar or expectation or that desire, we can see, we can learn, listen, and experiment. How can I get there? What can I do? And that brings me to step 4 with it being an experiment. This is such a cool little mind shift. I want you to imagine yourself as a scientist with a cutie little lab coat. You're working in a lab. You have your little cute little clipboard. And if you're a scientist working in a lab, you're experimenting. You're trying to see what's working, what isn't, what's causing problems, what's causing solutions. You're testing theories. You're looking to confirm your hypothesis, but judgment is not in the room. You're just observing, you're taking notes, you're saying, okay, this worked, this didn't. But I love this concept of letting it be an experiment. And tomorrow we're going to talk about building better habits around food. But before we do, we have to view things as an experiment. Otherwise, we're just going to go back to judging ourselves, because new habits, doing healthy things, like that's all good and dandy. But like, if we're still holding ourselves hostage with judgment, it doesn't matter how good the habit is. We're still not going to feel enough. And when we view it as an experiment, the coolest part about it is that if we fail, if we don't measure up, it's okay. And instead of judging ourselves, let's gather information with our clipboard, right? What went wrong? Were there any obstacles or barriers that got in the way of our success? Is there anything there that prevented us from achieving the goal? And if so, let's troubleshoot. Let's come up with solutions. This is so healing and productive because it actually leads to solutions. You judging yourself is no longer an option here. And the reason is because you judging yourself does not lead to any productive solutions. It only leads to shame, and shame is not welcome here. We discover food freedom when we sideline the shame. We don't have to beat ourselves up for choices we made in the past. We can learn from our choices 100%. We can heal our wounds from our past, heck yeah, and I hope that you do, but we don't have to let our shame keep us small. Shame doesn't get to play the game with us. We are going to sideline it, keep it out of the game, keep it out of the room. It doesn't belong here unless it's helping us and guiding us to a deeper healing, and unless we can learn something from it. But otherwise, shame is not welcome. Judgment is a choice. And you can always choose again. Remember this next time your self-talk is tearing you down. Notice that judgment. See if it's offering up any insightful information, then choose again. So often we think, oh, I can't start again till January 1st. I can't start again till Monday. I can't start again until the end of the week, or till I finish the job, till I finish school, whatever it may be, till I meet the next, timeline status thing. But you can make choices moment to moment. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can always choose again, thought to thought, moment to moment. So let's take feel-good action on our second day of the challenge. I want to give you 2 challenges today, 2 ways to take feel-good action. Number 1, experiment. When you notice a judgmental thought, when you're listening to your thoughts, or you just notice how you're feeling about something, just listen and observe and experiment with this idea of choosing again. See if it works for you, see if it doesn't, or just see what's getting in the way of that being a successful little practical tool for you. And I hope that you choose to build yourself up. And if you tear yourself down, just choose again. And then if you tear yourself down, choose again. Just keep trying, keep experimenting. And the second thing I want you to do today is to send me a DM on Instagram that says day 2 done. I absolutely love seeing your DMs. And it just is so cool to put a face to who's watching this behind the camera. And I get to connect with you, and I love it. So friend, you are enough, and I will see you in day 3 of 5 days to food freedom. Bye, friend.